2 hours left, Archangel Michael says, I order you to open it quickly. Don't tell anyone, it's only for you. There's a gathering happening even now, one where your name has come up. I was sent urgently to you, not with a mere warning, but with a divine interruption. Beloved child, listen and listen well. What is unfolding around you is not random. You're under observation, not by visible enemies, but by those operating in secrecy, those who have quietly etched your name onto a document, making arrangements behind the veil. What they are planning is not a removal from a location, but from a promise, a divine assignment meant for you, one I have guarded personally for ages. You've got 2 hours, just 2 hours, to become aware of what's being said, of the motives behind, why your name now echoes in rooms, where it was never meant to be mentioned. This is more than a message, it's a spiritual alert. Your spirit stirred the moment this message found you, because something heavenly needs your awareness. You were never just one among many, you carry light in your name. It has been whispered in angelic meetings, and inscribed in heavenly scrolls, that speak of destiny. But here on this plane, there are individuals close to power, who are orchestrating plans you haven't been told. Not to instill fear, but to ignite the holy flame within you. The fire of truth, which pierces darkness, and shatters secret intentions. Those involved in this plot, are unaware that heaven has already dispatched a message to your heart. Open this quickly, this is for you, and no one else. You are not meant to be taken out, you were created to ascend. And what's happening behind closed doors now, is an attempt to delay your spiritual emergence, a delay of something heaven already greenlit. Your guardian angels, who've stood watch over your nights, have sensed your tension. You've been feeling strange shifts, unusual dreams, repeated numbers, sudden pressure in your chest, even moments where light flickered, or unknown names crept into your thoughts. All of these are divine nudges, signals calling your attention toward this message. If your soul has felt drawn toward these words, know this is not by chance. You've been chosen to hear what others overlook. That pull you felt, it's heaven's way of making sure you don't miss what matters. Hit the bell icon, let no divine message pass you by, for these are not just words, they are protection wrapped in revelation. Now hear me, there is a voice in that secret meeting, softly speaking your name with heavy intention. But they underestimate you, they assume your safety comes from earthly support. They are wrong, you are not protected by people, you are protected by purpose. Light encircles you, I Michael have placed my sword, between your life and their scheme. But remember, free will is real. That's why I urge you now, to open your spirit, and pay attention. When you do, the course of what they're building can shift. You'll feel it in your body. This is not a message like any other, this is divine interception. The position they are targeting is more than a role, it's your spiritual standing. They want to pull you from your moment of breakthrough, your divine timeline, your sacred inheritance. But they only succeed if you remain unaware. That's why heaven whispers again, open it, keep this close, speak it to no one. Your awareness starts the reversal. Now that your eyes are open, you can't be misled. What once could have brought you down, is already losing its grip, because you've seen this. Someone envies your favor, they've watched as blessings surround you, even when traps were set in secret. They're attempting to erase your name from a list. But what they fail to realize is this: the list they're altering isn't the final one. Heaven's scroll still shows your name, unchanged, unwavering in first position. You are still chosen, still covered. But you must act fast. Within 2 hours, a decision will try to be made, a call that if left unchecked, makes their plan harder to dismantle. I stand before your spirit, holding out this message, with unwavering urgency. I don't speak like this often, but this is war, spiritual war, and you are meant to win. God allowed these words to reach you, because you are capable of shifting the outcome. You will pray, remain alert, and move wisely. They won't see you coming, because now you're awake. Yes, you've dreamed of doors, heard unfamiliar names, and sensed unseen eyes watching. Not all those eyes were evil, some were curious, others envious. One person in that very group, wants you out. They long for what you've been given. And the cruelest part, they smile at you. You've seen that smile, you've always sensed something wasn't quite right. Now you understand why. Knowing is power, and when you know, God begins to act. Say this aloud right now. I will not be removed from my divine position, no meeting formed against me shall prosper. I claim the protection of Archangel Michael, I claim divine justice, I wrap myself in sacred light. With those words, something already shifted. In the unseen realm, I hear the sound of spiritual chains breaking. The one attempting to push you out just lost focus. Their misstep is coming. They'll say the wrong thing, drop a hint, or their guilt will overflow. Be watchful, the sign will manifest, you'll feel it like a fire through your bones, chills across your skin. That's not just coincidence, that's confirmation from the heavens. You were created for something extraordinary, angels have accompanied your journey, since your first breath. That's why you've faced strange spiritual struggles, most others can't understand. But this moment, this one's different, this is personal. What you are about to step into, has the power to transform everything, your family, your finances, even your identity. Their attempt at removal could have broken you, but it won't, because you're still here, listening, receiving, standing tall. God sees you, I speak this with a sacred softness, you didn't skip over this. You felt the pull, and you responded. That one action opened doors, that were tightly closed for months. Watch how timing starts to align, unexpected texts, emails revealing truth, conversations that suddenly connect the dots. It's all divine, this message must be protected. Don't explain it to those who mock faith, don't hand it to those who scoff at the sacred. Keep it sealed, this is heaven's whisper to you alone. Confirmation will come, you'll hear your name in an unusual space, you'll bump into someone unexpected, you may even sense someone calling to you in your dreams. That's heaven working overtime, because these next 2 hours hold more than a warning, they hold a shift. Speak life over your steps, cancel their words before they are uttered. You won't be replaced, you will rise even higher. Their strategy is falling apart, even now. Let them scheme, let them whisper. For while they attempt to remove you from the narrative, heaven is preparing to rewrite it, with you standing in victory. I never come without purpose, my sword is drawn, your moment is approaching, and heaven is already turning the page. But this time with more clarity. A phone call that you almost gave up on will come through. A name you haven't heard in a long time will suddenly resurface, and it will make sense. These are not coincidences, these are confirmations, echoes of alignment, proof that heaven has already stepped in, to undo what was meant to delay you. And now what was once unclear, will begin to become visible. You'll feel moments where time feels different, where you pause and realize something sacred is happening. That's because it is. You're being shifted from delay, into divine direction. The spiritual fog is lifting, and your clarity will return. Suddenly you'll know what to do next, you'll feel the weight in your chest begin to lift. And for the first time in a long while, your spirit will breathe again. Now listen closely, because this next part is not just for your comfort, it's for your preparation. In the days ahead, there will be another moment, where you are mentioned again, in a conversation not meant for your ears. But this time it will not harm you, it will help you. Because someone present will stand up and speak the truth. They've watched you from a distance, waited for the right time, and now that time has come. Their words will reverse what was meant to block you, their voice will carry weight, and their conviction will cause even those who doubted you to pause. That is what divine timing looks like, not forced, not manipulated, but perfectly placed. That's what you're stepping into, rooms you didn't knock on, favor you didn't campaign for, blessings you didn't chase. This is the reward for staying quiet, when you could have retaliated. For staying soft, when you were tempted to harden. For holding your peace, when the storm around you tried to pull you under. You are about to be noticed, not for how loud you shouted, but for how deeply you trusted. Your stillness made a sound in heaven. And that sound called forth alignment. Now the angels who were standing guard are shifting formation. They are going ahead of you, opening new doors, closing the wrong ones, whispering your name into places you didn't know were options. This is the movement that follows obedience. You thought you were just surviving a storm, but in truth you were being trained to navigate the supernatural. What others call intuition, you now know is spiritual discernment. What others dismiss as coincidence, you now recognize as heavenly timing. You are no longer guessing, you are discerning, you are no longer wandering, you are walking in purpose. And with that comes a new kind of responsibility, one that doesn't require you to be perfect, but it does require you to be present. Present enough to listen to your spirit, present enough to say yes when the nudge comes, present enough to recognize when peace leaves a room. Because peace is no longer just a feeling, it's your confirmation. There's a shift happening in your relationships too. People who once overlooked you will feel drawn back, not to use you again, but to honor what they didn't understand the first time. And you'll have a choice, to hold a grudge or to hold space, to return with bitterness or to return with boundaries. Choose the path that keeps your peace intact. Not every return is meant to be reopened, some are simply reminders of how far you've come. You've grown in silence, your roots have deepened beneath the surface. And now the fruit of your patience is beginning to show. Those who tried to prune you too early will be shocked by what they see. Because they didn't realize cutting you off only made you grow stronger, they didn't realize that rejection was divine redirection. And now they'll witness the results of God's protection. But child, this next elevation isn't just for you, it's for those connected to you. Your healing will create healing in others, your voice will unlock doors for those still in silence, your breakthrough will serve as blueprint. That's why the attack was so intense, because your rise isn't personal, it's generational. You're breaking things that were never meant to last, you're starting things that were always meant to begin. Let that truth settle in, let it breathe through you. Because once you understand the size of what you carry, you stop shrinking to fit places that can't contain you. You stop explaining your light to people committed to darkness, you stop apologizing for being chosen. You are no longer who you used to be, and the world will notice. You'll carry a presence that can't be explained, only felt. People will sense your peace before you speak, they'll feel your strength without needing your resume. Because true spiritual authority doesn't need announcement, it is recognized. Now take this moment, and place your hand over your heart. Feel that rhythm, that's purpose, that's alignment, that's your reminder that heaven has not forgotten you. That every delay, every detour, every denied request, was working for this moment. And this moment is sacred, this moment is sealed. You are stepping into prepared places, rooms already infused with favor, tables already set with your name in mind. There is no need to compete, to perform, to convince. What's yours is already marked, it's already reserved, and no amount of envy, sabotage, or opposition can unwrite what heaven has already written. Walk into the next chapter with quiet confidence. With a peace so deep it unsettles the insecure. With a clarity so sharp it exposes what no longer fits. Because child, you've crossed a threshold, you've passed the test, you've survived the unseen war. And now heaven has declared it is your time. And heaven responded, now the skies are shifting. A breakthrough is in transit, and this time nothing can intercept what's coming. What was delayed is now divinely expedited, what was held back is now released in full measure. Because you listened, you surrendered, you said yes without knowing how it would unfold, and that was enough. That yes caused a ripple in the spiritual realm, that now touches every area of your life. Doors are being commanded to open, chains are being broken, before you even arrive. The rooms you once felt unworthy to enter, are now being redesigned with your presence in mind. And now you'll notice something unusual, people who once ignored you will suddenly start to acknowledge you. Not because you've changed for them, but because your spirit is now undeniable. There's a glow they cannot miss, a presence they cannot explain, a grace that moves ahead of you, and makes space for you. What once felt forced is now flowing, what once felt blocked now comes without resistance. This is what divine timing feels like, it's not rushed, it's not late, it's exactly aligned. Child, this season won't look like the past. The cycles are breaking. The generational weight that rested on your shoulders is lifting. What burdened those before you will not reach you. You were the chosen one to interrupt the pattern, you were the one bold enough to say, it ends with me. And because of that courage, your bloodline is being healed. The echo of prayers spoken generations ago, is now being fulfilled, through your obedience. You are the answered prayer of someone, who never got to see the miracle, but believed anyway. So take a breath again, slow, intentional, sacred. Because right now, in this very moment, the angels around you are rejoicing. They've seen your battles, they've witnessed your quiet cries, they've recorded the nights you almost gave up but didn't. And now they are preparing a celebration, that only the heavens can throw. There will be a season ahead, where everything makes sense. The pain, the pause, the silence, it all led to this divine appointment, with your next level. You're not late, you're right on time. You're not forgotten, you've been reserved. You're not overlooked, you've been protected. And now the unveiling begins. One layer at a time, the true version of you steps forward. Not the masked version, not the muted version, but the full free healed soul, that was always meant to rise. And those who tried to confine you will be left in awe, not of revenge, but of your transformation. They'll whisper, "How did they survive that?" But you'll know it was never just survival, it was resurrection. Every setback added to the testimony, every detour rewrote your direction. And now the testimony is too powerful to silence. You don't even need to speak, your life is the sermon, your breakthrough is the message, your peace is the proof. Let those who doubted sit in the audience, while you walk the stage of purpose. Not for applause, but for alignment. Not for attention, but for assignment. You were made for this, it's in your design. The anointing on you is not random, it's inherited, it's sacred, it's recognized in realms your feet have not yet touched. You'll start to feel things breaking, before they're visible. The spiritual world always confirms first. That sense of sudden release, that's not imagination, that's alignment. That inner knowing that something is shifting, that's revelation. Don't wait for others to validate what your soul already knows. You are standing in the fulfillment of prophecy, you are breathing in answered prayers, you are walking in rooms designed by divine instruction. This next part will feel unfamiliar. The healing, the peace, the favor, it won't resemble your past. But don't run from it, don't sabotage it with doubt. Let yourself receive without apology, let yourself rise without guilt. Because you paid a price in private, that most people will never know. You carried weight in silence, that would have crushed others. And now the reward will be just as public, as the suffering was private. But with humility, with reverence, with sacred fire. You are not stepping into luck, you are stepping into legacy. You are not being promoted by people, you are being elevated by heaven. And no human can reverse what has been spiritually decreed. Every tongue that spoke against you will now be silenced. Not by revenge, but by reverence. Not by shame, but by stillness. Because the glory on your life is undeniable, the light that surrounds you is impenetrable, the voice within you is unshakable. This is your rise, this is your sacred shift, this is the hour heaven has been preparing you for all along. Everything before this was training, everything after this is transformation. And you, child, are the living proof that miracles still happen. You are walking confirmation that God's timing never fails. You are standing evidence that obedience moves mountains. So now, with clarity in your eyes, and fire in your soul, step forward, quietly, boldly, graciously. Because this is the moment the heavens have been holding for you. And as you go, remember, you owe no one an explanation for your glow. You owe no apology for your peace. You owe no defense for your breakthrough. Let your presence be the proof, let your stillness be your strength, let your joy do the talking. Because what's coming next doesn't require noise, it requires readiness. You've waited, you've wept, you've warred, and now it's time to walk. This is your divine intersection, the rest of your story begins here. Because what heaven whispered to you today is not just for this moment, it's a permanent shift. A divine marking, a spiritual seal, that no one can remove, no force can override, and no voice can silence. Child, what you feel stirring right now is confirmation. It's the knowing that your wait was not in vain, that your tears weren't wasted, that your quiet endurance didn't go unnoticed. Every tear you cried, every night you felt forgotten, was actually a deposit. And now heaven is releasing the return. You are about to witness what it means to be favored in public, after being faithful in private. The seeds you planted in silence are about to bloom in front of those who thought nothing would grow. Those prayers you whispered when no one was around, they're coming up now as fruit you didn't expect, but fruit you absolutely deserve. And child, there's something else, a divine timing is being set in motion. Appointments you missed, opportunities you thought slipped away, relationships you had to walk away from, they're being divinely rearranged. What was meant for your detour is now returning as part of your destiny. This is not just restoration, it's redefinition. Heaven is rewriting the meaning of certain memories in your life. What once felt like abandonment will now reveal itself as alignment. What you thought was a loss was actually a launch. And that launch, it's already begun. That's why certain people can't reach you the way they used to. That's why some conversations now feel too small, too heavy, or simply unnecessary. Your frequency has shifted, your elevation has started. You no longer resonate with the same doubts, the same fears, the same survival patterns. And this is not arrogance, it's awakening. An awakening to who you really are, to who you were before the pain, to who heaven always knew you would become. Let this truth settle in your bones. You are not behind, you are not late, you are not lost, you are aligned, anointed, and appointed. Yes, appointed for such a time as this. And that's why the resistance was so intense, because spiritual resistance always precedes divine release. It was not random, it was not punishment, it was pressure being applied to awaken power. Now that power is here, it's in your voice, it's in your posture, it's in the way your spirit refuses to shrink. That's why the rooms you enter will start to shift. Not because of your title or your status, but because of your presence. You bring heaven's atmosphere with you now. The anointing you carry can no longer be hidden, it's rising, glowing, speaking, before you even open your mouth. And the world needs what's on your life. There is someone who's about to reach out to you, not because they pity you, but because they've been instructed to honor you. You will know them by the peace that follows their presence. You will not need to force the connection, it will flow. And it will confirm what your spirit already sensed, that God is sending people to bless you in this new season, not because you begged, but because you're ready. You passed the test of isolation, now comes the reward of elevation. And yes, child, your name is being spoken, in places you've never stepped into. Rooms you've never entered, are being prepared for your arrival. Not just to observe, but to own. You are not a guest, you are a builder. An establisher of divine legacy. You will plant what others will eat from, you will speak what others will be healed by, you will lead what others will be changed through. And all of this is happening, not because you were perfect, but because you were willing. You were willing to surrender, willing to stay when it was lonely, willing to believe when there was no proof, willing to forgive when it hurt, willing to trust again when your heart was tired. That willingness was the key, and now the door is open. Not just a door to opportunity, but a door to your next spiritual dimension. You will feel it in your body, in your energy, in your discernment. A new layer of wisdom is being unlocked, and it will guide your next steps with ease. Even your finances will begin to respond, not because of hustle, but because of harmony. You are entering a rhythm where money follows peace, where provision follows purpose, where overflow replaces anxiety. And even now, angels are being dispatched on your behalf. They are moving in places you cannot see, speaking in rooms you haven't walked into yet, aligning divine resources that will land in your lap, not by accident, but by appointment. And child, do not be surprised when the people who once doubted you start speaking differently. Some will come with apologies, others will simply try to stand close again. You won't need to prove anything, your glow will do the talking. You'll feel the urge to explain yourself, don't. Let your evolution be its own explanation. Because you don't need to prove healing, when you've already embodied it. Remember this, you are not just stepping into blessing, you are becoming the blessing. And wherever you go, that blessing will follow. In conversations, in projects, in ideas, in relationships. Your touch will carry breakthrough, your voice will stir awakening, your presence will bring peace. You will no longer question your place at the table, you are the table, you are the invitation, you are the confirmation. And lastly, child, keep your heart clean. Don't let bitterness rob you of your beauty. Don't let resentment poison your reward. Don't let old narratives stop new beginnings. Because what's ahead is too sacred to be delayed by what's behind. You've been trusted with something holy. Protect it, honor it, walk in it boldly. For the time is no longer coming, it has come. And you, child, are ready. Amen.